Wrap-up, including BAS lodgement. The Wrap-up tab in Books Review is the final step in the review process. This area allows for the sharing of key reports with your client and for closing out the review period. Let's take a look at the Wrap-up area. So it'll be found under Books Review, Wrap-up. And you can see that this is actually divided into two key sections. We have the summary tasks and shortcuts. The summary tasks section includes prepare reports, send report package, prepare to lodge, and close the books. The shortcuts area is where you can add any reports or processes you would like your team to review or complete. Let's see how Carol works through each step to complete the BAS process and prepare the reports for the September quarter. Carol first takes a look at the prepare reports. In this area, Carol can select from a number of reports to be shared out with her client. So she will select the select hyperlink, and this is where she has the option to choose what package she wants. So she'll choose the BAS work papers. The first thing she does is she chooses the correct period, and the correct period that she's looking for her BAS is the July to September 22. So she'll customise those dates. Once she's got the dates in, the next thing that she takes a look at is the cover style. Now, she's happy with this cover style, but if she did want to change it, she will just go over to the cover style and choose which one she likes. So you can see this is very similar to the management reporting that we did in the reporting module. She then goes down the left-hand side where she will choose the table of contents. This is the preliminary page, which she'll leave in, and she'll just add in a few details before she sends it out to the client. The reports, well, this is where the reports packs are found, and you've got numerous reports that you can choose from. You can also add a new report if you're wanting to add a new report, as you can see. And you can also have the option of moving your report. So let's just say Carol wants to see the GST amendment report as the very first report, so she'll just move that up. She also has the option to, if we click on the pencil icon, she also has the option that she can actually choose and select more of a criteria around, say, the profit and loss. So let's just say she wants to compare it by the previous year or the previous period. She would select either one of those. She can customise a different date, even outside of the right-hand side corner date. And here she's just added profit and loss by quarter. So she wants to save that. So she just closes that window down. Now, please take note, if you want to delete any one of these reports, you've got the bin icon there to actually close that down and delete. She will then save and close. And before we save and close, I'll just show you the last one. We've got endnote. So if she does want to include this, she doesn't have to. So she's just going to unselect that. And then before she saves, what she's going to do is she's actually going to call this FY23 quarter one. Now that she's ready to save and close, she'll just choose save and close. And that's been saved. Now, what she wants to do is to ensure that it has been saved correctly. And this is where you go to check this. So it'll be under reports, under management reports, and you can see this is the one that Carol has just completed. So now let's go back to the wrap-up screen. So we'll go back to Books Review, Wrap Up, and she's actually prepared her report. So she clicks Done. Now she's ready to send that report package, and Carol has the option to share this report with her client or the team if she wishes. So let's click on Send, and it'll take us straight back to that management reports that we looked at. And you can see she can preview, she can edit once again if she needs to add any information, and she can send. So this is where she would send an email out directly to her client. Or if Natasha was wanting to see this before she sends it out, she'd actually send that off to Natasha. So once she sends it out, Carol now returns back to the Books Review, back to the Wrap Up, and she can actually select Done, and she's completed that one. The next one that we're going to take a look at is Prepare to Lodge, and this shortcut takes you directly to your GST centre where the BAS can be prepared. Now, Carol's going to prepare this BAS, and notice that this is the first time the BAS has been prepared in this particular file. So she will be presented with a Prepare BAS or IAS. So we'll choose the Prepare BAS or IAS. And this is where she'll choose the very first BAS period for this particular file. Easy to do. She chooses the month, which is July, the year, which is 22, the end of the quarter, which is September, and make sure that we choose the right year. Let's click Continue. And this is where it's going to take us into the GST Centre wizard. Now, as part of the book's review, Carol has already reviewed all the transactions, made sure they were complete, and ensured the GST codes were correct and captured. Now, as she runs through the BAS wizard, we'll actually take a look at what is entailed in the wizard. You can see that we already have, as well as, 2 more reports that we can check, which are GST codes are correct and check transactions that don't have a GST code. So it's just a little reminder if you do want to go through those 2 reports. But Carol's very happy that she's checked both of these reports and she'll choose Next. Now, this is where the PAYG W2 and the gross salaries W1 is pre-populated from the payroll centre. We're happy with that because we've checked that back to our report for PAYG for this quarter, and Carol chooses Next. The next amount that you need to enter and ensure is correct is the income tax instalment for the company. We know it's $1,200, so we'll leave it at $1,200. But if you do have to change it, you just change it quite easily from this particular field. Let's click Next. And this takes us to our BAS summary. Now, this is where Carol reviews the BAS figures on the screen and can compare to her work papers before moving down to the bottom of the screen. So you can see this is a summary of the BAS activity statement. Carol reviews her reports and she's quite happy that these are all correct. And if you note, we actually have a button Export to Lodgement. Carol is using Lodgement to lodge the BAS return. Lodgement is an online BAS and tax preparation and lodgement tool that is provided as a benefit of the Pro Advisor program. Lodgement is covered in greater detail in the QuickBooks Tax Powered by Lodgement course. Please take a look at that. Now, all you need to do is just choose Export to Lodgement. Once she chooses Export to Lodgement, it will automatically pre-fill the Lodgement paperwork for the business activity statement and you can lodge straight away. So it's a real streamlined service that is provided to you as a Pro Advisor. Now, the other option that you do have is if you do not choose Lodgement for your BAS lodgements, you choose another software, you can print off this particular BAS activity statement. Then you'll have to go into your preferred BAS lodgement software and lodge the BAS. Then once it is lodged, all you need to do is just choose the down arrow and mark it as lodged. What this does is this will actually close the BAS activity statement for the very first time for this quarter. Carol now is ready to mark her BAS as lodged. Once she does this, you can see that it is completed and finished the BAS period for this particular time. The next thing I just want to show you quickly is if we go to our magnifying glass, so let's just take a look at the journal that the BAS automatically produces when we close the BAS down. You can see it's picked up the end of the quarter date. We have the PAYG tax income instalment, the PAYG tax withheld, GST liabilities, that's a GST on purchases. It shows you the rounding to balance off the journal. We also have the GST liabilities account, and this is the GST on sales, and the actual amount that is owed to the ATO. This gets journaled to the account called ATO clearing account. So let's close and save this window. And you can see that the BAS for the July to September has been lodged and we're ready to record a payment. And we take a look at this in the very next topic called GST Centre Overview. Now that we've completed the BAS, Carol will now go back to Books Review and she will go back to Wrap Up. And now she's actually ready to complete the Done action for her Prepare to Lodge. The last thing that needs to be done is closing the books. So she chooses Close Now. Now this is actually going to take you back to the settings of the company settings, also found in the cogs wheel if you want to know where this particular area can be found. And if you take note, this is where Close the Books are found, and we will turn them on. Most of the time, the closing date will be the same period that you completed the BAS, or if you're reconciling monthly, you can close by month. As you can see, I've added in the 30th September 2022, which is the end date of our BAS that we just completed. We do have two options. Allow changes after viewing a warning and entering the password, or allow changes after viewing a warning. I normally choose this one, which is the password. It just makes it that little bit stronger to access the data and change the data. If we take a look at the question mark, it says it lets closed transactions be changed with or without a password, and hence why I always choose this one. Now, all you need to do is add in your password and click Save. Once I do this, we are not able to enter anything into QuickBooks Online prior to this particular date. So we can't edit, we can't delete any transactions unless we add in the password. Now that we've completed that, choose Done, go back to Books Review and Wrap Up, and we will choose Done. Now that Carol has successfully walked through the Books Review, she's worked everything that she needs to work, she's processed and she's prepared and lodged the BAS for Zippy Electrical and Data Services. She loved how the anomaly transactions were surfaced for her by QuickBooks Online. This saved her heaps of time having to hunt them down. She also liked how she could tailor those shortcuts to suit her processes. And Carol advises Damien of his BAS obligation and its due date.